Good afternoon, everybody. Going to go over our Forex trades for today, Wednesday, June 22nd. It was actually a trade last night. Finally had a trade. Been a couple days. Yesterday was Janet Yellen testifying in front of the Senate, which actually continues today. But her opening remarks are very similar to yesterday, so shouldn't be too much of a disruption there. But we didn't get the trade yesterday because of that. We did have two trades, although it is just one scalp in euro yen to the short side, which we correlated it with the Swiss franc to Japanese yen to give ourselves some protection. So we'll go over that in a minute. First, economic news yesterday. Like I said, Janet Yellen testified in front of the Senate. She sounded somewhat confused. She's confused by the lack of growth in the economy. She started off saying that the Fed still wants to raise rates this year. But then about halfway through her testimony, she says there's no real economic reason to raise rates. That's the closest I think we're ever going to see or hear the Fed admitting zero bound rates, QE, or even negative rates don't create inflation and really aren't working if this was a financial experiment. They want to raise rates to normalize rates, as we've said so many times throughout our videos. What else? She did say, what did she say about, no, today, so today she's continuing. This morning we had the IMF coming out and saying that the US dollar is overvalued by 10 to 20%. That's basically the IMF telling the Fed and Janet Yellen that you can't raise rates. Existing home sales came in pretty decent, up 1.8, but they missed estimates, unfortunately. And the other scary part about the home sales was the luxury end of the high end of the market saw an average discount of over 11%. So that was a big increase over the past couple months as far as what the luxury market's discounting their homes to get them sold. So really that's it. So we're going to go over the trades. Like I said, we had a euro yen scalp, which was a full size. We correlated it with half our euro yen size. We correlated that with the Swiss franc. So in other words, the amount that we had in euro yen, we took the opposite position in Swiss franc Japanese yen, but half the size of the euro yen. And it countered some of the directional risk. It's not a pure correlation trade, but it's like I said, it's a way to counter some directional risk. So this was last night. We were short from 117.712. It took about 45 minutes, came in our direction. We covered 117.510, just ahead of the half figure. You know we're not big on figures, so whole numbers 118, 117. The second thing to be aware of is in the middle, so 117.50. So we covered just ahead of that, picking up 20.2 pips. You can see what it did. It ripped through that, and it traded all the way down close to 117.40. So maybe we left some on the table. I don't know. Still a decent trade in a relatively short period of time. We were out of it before shutting things down for the evening, so that was also good. Swiss franc Japanese yen. So we correlated, like I said, the euro yen with the Swiss franc Japanese yen. Half of the size of the euro yen. So we were long this from, at the same time, we were long this from 108.788. They are highly correlated. They move similar amounts per day. I mean, it's not going to be identical. Actually, Swiss franc Japanese yen moves about 10% less than euro yen moves on any given day. So we were long this from 108.788. We sold 108.644, losing 14.4 pips, but we had half the size that we had in euro yen. So we lost 7.2 pips on that trade. Overall, the net we were at, the gross that we were up was 13.0 pips on the button. So we'll take that and we'll move on. Now, I don't know if we're going to get any other trades today, tonight, tomorrow, because the UK is voting on if they're going to remain or they're going to leave the Eurozone. It's going to impact a lot of currencies, dollar, euro, obviously the pound. It'll impact the yen. So we probably won't be taking any risk there. Might be able to trade tomorrow morning, depending on if that vote has been announced yet. They're about 6 hours ahead of us. So I don't know what time it's being announced. So we'll see. Anytime a poll comes out, it affects it. So I can't imagine the actual results of the vote. There'll be exit polls and whatnot. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. If any signals come out to be coming your way, like I said, if you're going to take them, you have to be very careful. We'll be sitting the sidelines. If we do any trades, we'll do another video tomorrow. Probably doesn't look like we will, but we'll see. And that's it. So have a great rest of your day and happy trading.